Welcome to Hogville.net YouTube Live. We're going to be talking a little bit of recruiting with Otis Kirk. As you know, it's that time of season. This is the Razorback Football Report with Otis Kirk. And welcome everybody. Friday here in June, and you know what that means? That means it is time for some Razorback recruiting. And I got Otis Kirk here with me. Otis, man, how's it going today?
Busy week, man. 7 official visitors last Sunday, 9 this Sunday, camp Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday tomorrow. Then one next Wednesday, and that'll be the last camp, thank God. But, yeah, it's been crazy, man. I mean, last Sunday had a camp and 7 visitors, so it's been pretty busy, man.
Ooh, so you were over in Bentonville yesterday. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was great, man. I tweeted out his story when I got back from Bentonville, and I said anybody that doesn't love C.J. Brown after reading that story or reading those quotes, not the story, but the quotes, not me. You know, I said they're not a Razorback fan. I mean, you have to love that kid, man. I mean, he just outstanding. Well, he's an outstanding player. 6'1", 6'2", 185 pounds. Been very good since the 8th grade, man. I mean, he's just been good. But yeah, I knew a couple of weeks ago he was coming here. So the distance was there was a lot of factors: guiding, Pittman, program. But the biggest thing that no school was going to be able to overcome, and he was honest with them, was the distance closest to home. There was nothing anybody could do about it. They couldn't make Manhattan or those places, Stillwater, any closer to Fayetteville than Bentonville was. They just couldn't do it, and that was something that nobody could overcome, and I knew they wouldn't. And he had told me that, and so it's important. One of his family members had COVID pretty bad a while back, and he wants to stay close to home and family could see him play, and it was something that was important to him. Jason.
Yeah, and also speaking of, we were also talking a little bit just a few minutes ago. There was an offensive lineman that Sam Pittman was kind of working with at his camp. Was it yesterday or today?
No, it was today. Barry McWhorter, from Cartersville, Georgia. 6'4" and a half, probably about 291 pounds, I believe. That's without shoes, by the way. And if you're wondering, he's in the 9th grade. He's got 20 offers. And it's not Otis Kirk School of Athletics. It's Alabama, Arkansas. I mean, South Carolina. It's big time. Florida State. He just got a ton of offers, man. And Penn State's offered him. But he's going into the 10th. I guess I shouldn't say the 9th grade because he's going into the sophomore season. But he just wrapped up his freshman season, and he's already got that many offers and that size. He's been coming to camp here for 6 years. He's a legend, man. I mean, I've watched him grow. I watched him. He came to the youth camps, and then he'd message me, "Hey, Otis, I'm here, man. Hey, Mr. Kirk, I'm here." And I don't pay much attention to the youth camps, but this kid's something else, and he has just grown and grown, and he's a man now, even at that age. But he's got Florida State, Alabama, and Georgia left this summer, but he's going to make a commitment in probably a little bit before this time next year, after his sophomore season in the spring. probably mid-spring or so. So he wants to get at the recruit. He's been to 20. He's been to 17 schools so far this summer.
Mm-hmm.
He does this every year. He's been to 17 this summer. He's got 3 more to go. He's going to make an informed decision. He just wants to get the pressure off of him and enjoy the last 2 years of high school and not have all the recruiting hanging over him. Arkansas is going to be tough to beat, Jason. I'll just be honest with you. I'm not saying he's a lock by any means. I'm just saying that Arkansas is going to be very difficult to beat. He would have a hard time telling Sam Pittman no. I mean, this is a kid that took out a billboard saying, I want to be a Razorback.
Especially being an offensive lineman, there it's really hard to tell Sam Pittman and company that I don't think that's just the right fit for me, because that's one of the things that is his biggest selling point is I can take you as a player. You already have the size. I can't teach size. I can take your athletic ability though, and I can mature it, make you into a man, and make you into a beast all at the same time.
Yeah, and he knows offensive line will always be a priority with Sam. It will always be one. He talked about it. The other kids over there today talked about that. I talked to 3 offensive linemen today. They all talked about that. It's just a big deal, and when you get a head coach being the offensive line, he's going to take care of you. Sam lit up when he moved down today to watch the offensive linemen work. He'd been watching every position. When he got down there watching the offensive line, he couldn't stand the little cart he had. He got out and started working with Bear. He couldn't stand it. He couldn't stand it. And, but those kids love Terrence Gardner and all of them from Warren. I mean, Chauncey Johnson from Lone Oak. Those kids love that. I mean, like I said, they all said the same thing. He's going to take care of the offensive line if they come here. Cody Taylor was here Wednesday. Yeah, Cody Taylor from Greenwood was here Wednesday, another 26 kid.
Mm-hmm.
They're growing them big now, man. I mean, Cody's 6'2.5", 280 without shoes, which I don't like those measurements without. I know they do it. Everybody does it.
Yeah.
But you play with cleats on, much less barefoot. You play with cleats on. So to me, Cody's about 6'3", 280, 6'4", 280. Basically 6'3 and a half, 280 is what he is.
Yeah.
I've got him listed 6'3", 280. Feel comfortable with that. But yeah, it's camp season. They're, like I said, they've got one tomorrow. Then they've actually got 2 Wednesday. They've got a camp for linemen, I believe, and then or maybe it's a 1-day camp, and then they've got a 7-on-7 tournament next Wednesday. So you've got 2 camps going on Wednesday. Maybe I don't remember if it's a lineman camp or just a 1-day camp next Wednesday, but there is a camp and there's a 7-on-7 going on as well. Benton won the one this week, went undefeated. Rather than Roscoe and his teammates, they went undefeated to win the Razorback Invitation, I think it's called.
I was talking to Anthony Lucas yesterday on text a little bit, and he was they're doing their 7-on-7 camp down there all day today. I'm sorry, and he was pretty excited about that. And I know that Braylon Russell was up for this weekend, and that's from what I'm kind of gathering is that it's really pretty much down between Arkansas, Tennessee.
South Carolina's in it. I don't think he's coming to Arkansas. We'll see. Hope I'm wrong, but I'm just telling you, I don't think he's coming. He was committed at one time. I think I don't know. I mean, I think he'll end up in Tennessee. I think if he didn't, he'd probably end up in South Carolina. I don't think he's going to Baylor. He visits there, but I think Tennessee's got the inside. They're going to get the last visit. He'll probably go there. He's going to announce on July the 14th. Arkansas's got a deep running back room. These kids, it's harder to recruit there this year. They've got Jaden Bogg, a 4-star. Jaden Bogg, a 4-star, but it's harder because a lot of kids are a little skeptical of the room. I mean, skeptical of the ability to play in that room. You've got not just Rashad and AJ, you got Rockets, you've got the freshman they signed last year, a 4-star. You've got, you just keep, you've got Jaden coming in.
Yeah.
Rocket will probably go to the NFL. Well, he'll go to the NFL. He has a healthy season. But But
And
it was an old
that's
game.
a
You didn't have to look any further than the Liberty Bowl to watch AJ get 99 yards and
yeah.
Rashad get for 100 and didn't even start the game.
Yeah, and that kind of reminds me of kind of how, Houston had kind of worked that backfield a little bit with making it, keeping the guys fresh, but at the same time, their production was at such a high level that
Yeah.
if you're on the bench and you're third string, it might be a little hard unless you kind of move over. And if you're looked at the slot receiver type and those positions, I mean, and Dan Enos is going to put the most skilled guys, the fastest guys in the best spots possible. I have no reservations about that. But I mean,
Oh,
if you're a running back coming in and it's just one of those things that just doesn't quite work out, if you're in this cycle, it might not be the best place for you if you want playing time.
yeah. Yeah. It's just, we'll have to see how it works out. There's always going to be issues with playing time. And, I mean, but, if you want to come, pay your dues like KJ did, you get to start 3 years. There's worse things
Yeah.
than paying your dues and waiting your turn. The microwave society now with the transfer portal, it's like, well, I can't play. I'm not going there. Well, how about you come? You wait till Rocket leaves, and then probably AJ will be out pretty soon. And I mean, he's going to be a junior. Just wait your turn, man. I mean, but kids don't want to do that. But the ones that do they're usually rewarded, and we'll see. I don't think this is any different.
So let's talk about a little bit about a recruiting visit that's going on this weekend. We were talking a little bit earlier. You got nine guys that are coming in for a visit this weekend.
Yeah, yeah, you got 9. You've got a couple of them are committed. Juju Pope, linebacker from Batesville, South Panola, is committed. He's a kid. We're talking about the running back room. If for any reason it doesn't work out at linebacker, he could play running back. That's a guy that can play line, or if they get so many linebackers and they can
Yeah.
put him in the running back room. He averaged over 10 yards a carry. He plays both ways for Batesville, South Panola. And then Jaden Allen's a cornerback who's committed to Arkansas from Aledo, Texas. And his teammate, Chris Johnson Jr., is coming in for a visit this weekend, too. Another cornerback. So they've got a couple of kids from Aledo coming in. You've got Selman Bridges from Temple, Lake Lake uh, Lake Belton's coming in, 4-star defensive back, cornerback, big time player. We
Yeah.
talked about Braylon, he's here. Uh, Suri Madison's an offensive lineman from Lexington. That Kentucky's got 2 interior offensive linemen, can't take a third one, and you don't want to take 5 interior offensive linemen. You want some tackles, so
Yeah.
Kentucky can't take. But he's coming. He's a very good player. He'll be here. Will Eccles, who could play either side of the ball. Houston, Mississippi. Now he can play either side of the ball. I think Arkansas is recruiting him for defense, but he's a kid that can go on either side. Bradley Shaw's a linebacker from Hoover, Alabama, and then Tylen Singleton's a kid that I met. Oh, was it last year or year before? I believe it was last year at a junior day up here. Talked to him, and he's a great player, big safety, Manny, Louisiana, but he'll be hard to get. But I mean, he's been here twice in the last 3 months, so that's a good sign for Arkansas. It's here last year to Prospect Day, and so those are the kids. I think I hit them all that's coming in, or today.
Yeah.
So that's 9, and there's some bunch of 4-stars in that. There's a few 3s, but for the most part, it's 4 stars. Bridges is almost a 5-star. He's got a ton of offers. But yeah, these are all good. These are all good players. They've all got lots of offers. I mean, it's not like they're scraping the bottom of the barrel to get these kids in. These are all good ball players. Got some very good offers.
Yeah, and also I want to add to you real quick. If you are watching, if you got any comments for myself or Otis, you got any questions, make sure to throw those in the comment section. We'd be more than happy to answer this for you. So I want to go back to just something really quick that you had mentioned, that you had a linebacker coming in that could move over to running back if the linebacker room was too full. When was the last time and I can't remember in the last 15 years, where Arkansas had almost too many linebackers?
Yeah, and they're recruiting the heck out of them. I mean, they just keep working on me out every weekend, and and they're landing some of them, and uh, so it's just amazing how all this is working out. But yeah, it's that trend started with all fairness with Michael Shearer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when previous staff was here, you know, they talked about they couldn't find linebackers and this and that. When Michael Shearer got here, he put a stop to that talk. He got them, and and then T. Will and Marcus Woodson and those guys came in and picked up right where he left off. So I mean, they're taking care of it.
They're really recruiting their butts off, and it's not. You and I was last year at the spring game. We're sitting there and in the press conference in the media room, and Sam was talking about how when he got there and the staff got there, they were going and recruiting guys at like this level. And then they had a little bit of success, and then they started having a little bit more proof in the pudding, and then they're recruiting guys about this level. And you're looking at 2 and 3 stars, maybe some preferred walk-ons, but more 2-3 stars. And then they started going into that 3 to 4 star. Now you're looking at this coaching staff recruiting solid 4 stars across the board and bringing them in on a consistent basis. Yeah, this is the plan that he's always had.
Yeah, I think part of that is this new staff he's hired, the new coaches he brought in, like Woodson and like Williams, Travis Williams, Marcus Woodson, Darren Wilson, and then Deke Adams recruited his butt off on the defensive line.
I know, that guy's incredible.
Cody's doing a very good job on the offensive line. Morgan Turner's getting tight ends in here. Kenny Guyton's been a machine at wide receiver. Dan Enos has his quarterback stacked through 2025. That room's really you got 2 of them for 2023. You got Malachi and Jacoby. Yep. 2024 you got KJ Jackson. 2025 you got Grayson Wilson, and then Jimmy Smith. We've already talked. I think we've talked.
That guy's a superstar. That guy's a superstar.
Oh yeah, Jimmy's a great guy, man, and anybody doesn't want to play for Jimmy Smith, they don't need him. If he doesn't want to play for Jimmy Smith at running back, you don't need him.
They got no room for him.
I mean, that guy's as good as it gets. And he is fair, and he's a good coach. And yeah, if you don't want to play for Jimmy, then go somewhere else, man. That's the way I look at it about running backs.
And he's the nicest
That's not
guy.
Directed at anybody, by the way. That's not directed. I'm just saying in general, and it's not just this year. I'm talking about every year Jimmy Smith's here. I'll say the same thing. That's not directed at Braylon or anybody in particular. It's just It's just that's why he's visiting.
The first time I met Jimmy Smith was last summer at one of the camps, and you and I were over there talking for a little bit, and I finally got to meet Sam and a couple other guys, and the one thing that really stuck out to me was there were so many moving parts going on, and Jimmy looks over at me and said, "Hey, I'm Jimmy Smith. Nice to meet you," and stops everything what he's doing, shakes my hand, and said, "Is there anything I can do for you?"
Yeah,
it blew my mind. Yeah, this guy takes take that moment just for a guy that I know he didn't know me from Adam. And takes that time and makes you feel like, and it honestly reminds me of Chuck Barrett, the way he kind of presented it, is that he makes you feel like the most important person in the room at that moment, and he is completely and fully engaged with you.
Yeah, that's just Jimmy. He's that way nonstop. That's why I say, when you get the total package with Jimmy Smith, that's why, if I was a running back, I just learned from him. Even if I had to take a couple of years to learn, to get on the field, I'd learn from him and develop. He'll make you a better person. He will. He'll make you a better person. Jimmy's one of a kind, man. Should be a head coach one of these days. I hear people say he should be an offensive coordinator someday, but he needs to be a head coach somewhere someday. He's that good. I mean,
He really is.
he's got the personality. He's got the knowledge. Personality. Probably needs experience. I mean, to be a head coach, because they got him. I think he'd been out of high school 1 year when they got him. Been small school for 1 year, so if I'm not mistaken, but he could use more experience before he gets into a head coaching job. But no, that's a guy that someday I look for him to possibly be a head coach somewhere. I'm not saying here. I'm just saying somewhere to be a head coach. Certainly an offensive coordinator, if not a head coach.
Most definitely. And so I want to move. We're talking recruiting season, but one of the most important parts of the roster that you bring in is re-recruiting the guys that you already have in place. They're staying here, and KJ is starting to develop that rapport with this core of receivers over spring workouts. And I know that you can't emphasize enough how important it is for them to get those reps in and day out basis, so that when they walk in August, there's that chemistry that they can just keep building off of until the season comes ahead in September.
Yeah, I mean, they look like an SEC team. I've seen them over there, Jason, before the camp start. They're out there working some, and I've seen a little bit, and they've come through. And I think this new strength coach is really doing a good job. I know we all jump on that bandwagon when they get a new strength coach, and in 2 or 3 years, when they fire them, we trash them. But I mean, I really look at these kids now, and I don't see the big bellies. They look bigger.
Yeah.
Just some of the kids like Carson Dean. I'm sorry, Carson Dean. A couple of those other kids that came in just at midterm. You can see the difference in them. Luke Hayes. You can see the difference in them, Jason. So, I mean, I'm not talking about guys that's been here 4 years. I'm talking about guys that came in at midterm. He's making a difference with them, and so I really like that. So, I think he's going to do a good job. I feel kind of weird saying it because every time we automatically, as soon as they hire a strength coach, we all brag how great they're doing. And then, like I said, a few years they fire them, and then we say, "Oh, he wasn't that good." But it looks like this guy's going to do a good job. We'll see.
It sounds like, from what you're describing, is that these players are not only buying into what Sam pitched them and the position coach had pitched them, they're buying into the actual training regimen that this staff has put together for them. When you start to see bodies transform in that short a period of time, that means that they are completely invested. They believe in everything that this entire staff is telling them, because they're making sure that their bodies are right whenever it comes September.
Yeah, I definitely think they're behind. I mean, the kids, I saw Shamar Easter the other day. He's only been here a few weeks, and to me, he looks bigger. But no, I definitely think these kids are buying in. I see them out there working the camp. Not just KJ. I see freshmen, Shamar Easter out there at the camp. I mean, I see these kids. Of course, KJ's out there and stuff, but I just see a lot of the players out there helping these coaches with the camp and just interacting with players and interacting with each other, and interacting with the coaches. And it's good to see that. I like the attitude of this team so far. Now, we'll see what happens come September, October, November. But I do like where this team. I love where the program's headed. Now, I do love that. I'm one of those that definitely thinks Sam Pittman's got this thing rolling in the right direction, because I know what his record is in 3 years. I hear that a lot, but I'm telling you, man, he inherited a mess. I mean, a mess. I'll say mess instead of cluster on here, but he inherited a real big mess, man. I mean, Brett didn't leave it in good shape. Brett Bielema, and then
John L. and
years were a complete hammer down left lane disaster, man. I mean,
it was more like a hammer down and skid it out.
Yeah, on the side of the road. Yeah, broke down on the side of the road, man. I knew that was bull when I was in Fort Collins. Yeah, Fort Collins, Colorado. When I played Colorado State, the end of the third quarter, and they got 4th and inches, and they punt. And I knew then his hammer down left lane. You had Devwell Whaley running over Colorado State. You had that time they had Cole Kelly in at quarterback instead of Ty, but you had Cole Kelly could have stretched the ball out. 6'7" or so. You had Devwell running wild that night, all over Colorado State, and you punt the ball, and you could just see the momentum shifting, and that wasn't hindsight. I actually said that, and there was 2 sitting by me in the press box was bragging what a great decision it was to punt. And then when they backed Colorado State up to like the 4, 5, or 6 yard line, see, and then they went about 97 yards for a touchdown. And then there was no more talk about being a good decision. You had to go for it, because I'm telling you, the altitude up there, I couldn't believe somebody on ESPN was questioning if the altitude at Denver's real. Yeah, it's real. I mean, you could see those kids getting tired, and you could see it coming. They had dominated the game, and then Colorado State went down and scored late in the third. And Arkansas's offense had scored on a pass from Cole Kelly to who caught that shovel pass? One of the running. Anyway, they scored real quick. Is what I'm getting at. So the defense had been on the field nearly the whole third quarter, and then you're going to go punt them back out there in the fourth quarter.
Doesn't work.
I don't remember who the receiver was or running back. He caught that pass from Cole and went the distance, but he was flying. But it was like a one-play deal. I mean, and the defense was right back out there, and that's why they need to grind it out and get the first down with Devwell and Cole.
Yeah.
But they didn't, and that's way in the hindsight. It wouldn't have mattered. I mean, they were going to lose. Chad would have eventually lost the program anyway. I mean, that was one game they shouldn't have lost.
And if anybody out there can remember that running back too, chime in on the comments as well and kind of help Otis and I pick us up there a little bit. It's been a long day, so. But I'm gonna get you out of here pretty. I'm gonna get you out of here pretty quick with buy and sell. So, first question I got is, and I'm gonna switch it up completely. And go off the rails here for just a second. Can the Denver Nuggets repeat as world champions?
I'm selling that, but here's why. They started the same lineup every game in the playoffs, every game. I don't think those guys can stay healthy like that again next year. Now, with that said, if they can keep the same core and they stay healthy, but man, injuries are the great equalizer. Ask Chad Morris. Ask Dave Van Horn. Ask Eric Musselman. Ask Sam Pittman when he didn't have KJ. Injuries are the great equalizer. I think it'd be expecting a lot to keep that core all healthy at playoff time next year. If they are, then they've got a chance. But it's hard to repeat, man. I mean, they had a lot of things, just like the Lakers in 2020 when Bron and AD stayed healthy. A lot of things went their way. Same thing this year. A lot of things went Denver's way, and that's important. And I'm not saying it's luck. I mean, luck or whatever. You got to have some luck to win a title at any level.
Most definitely, yeah.
I mean, so it's not bad at luck. I mean, that's part of the game. And if you can get some luck, you take it.
So kind of talking about that for just a second, and this is going to kind of go into my next buy or sell. Is that LeBron's talked about how much of a taxing thing it is on your body when you go year in and year out to not only playoffs but NBA finals. You're playing from October to June instead of October the 1st of May, and that 2 extra months, you get some days off in between games, but honestly, it's really taxing on that body, and so I personally, I think I'm gonna have to sell, because like you said with the great equalizer, but also if Mike Malone is not loading or making sure that their load during the season is pushed back a little bit, you're going to definitely see some dead legs there in the later playoffs if Denver does make it.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. I mean, I don't care what age you are. Eventually, just over takes its toll. I mean, it's
most definitely. So that segue goes into my next question. What kind, or let me buy or sell on this one. The Lakers can make some noise in the first round.
Will they make some noise in the first round?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they're not. That's misleading to say that Denver beat a 7th seed. They were, but they were the second best team in the NBA after the All-Star, after the trade deadline. Their record was the second best. Let me put it that way. So yeah, I mean, they weren't their typical. If they'd had that roster the entire season, they wouldn't have been a 7th seed. Yeah, they can definitely make some noise in the playoffs next year. Yeah, definitely.
And then my last one that I've got for you, and I know this is kind of a more of a pie in the sky thing, but do you think, buy or sell, Rocket Sanders should be more of a dark horse than KJ Jefferson in the Heisman race at the first of this coming season?
That's a great question, man. That's a great one. I'll say this: I think both of them should get consideration. Now, I do. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Rocket's the best running back in the country. Yeah, I know about the kid at Michigan, and I know about the kid at Ole Miss, but I do think Rocket's the best running back in the country. I don't think. I mean, I think KJ's as good as it. I think he's probably the best quarterback in the SEC, but he's not the best quarterback in the country. So therefore, I would probably say Rocket, be more of a Heisman Trophy guy because I think he's the best running back in the country. I really do. You let those other guys, let him stay healthy, and those other guys get some injuries. See what happens there. And I'm not saying he'll win the Heisman, but I'm just saying I do think he's the best running. I mean, they've got him rated third. Most people do, behind the Michigan kid and the Ole Miss kid,
Blake Corum and Judkins.
I mean, to me, he's the best one of the three. So we'll see. But if they get injured and he stayed healthy, he might be the top running back. Doesn't mean now there's some, you got Drake May, Caleb Williams. You've got some quarterbacks that are going to be in the Heisman talk. Yeah. But I could see him getting the most votes of any running back if Arkansas had a good season and he had a great season. That it takes a lot to get up there. I mean, Arkansas has to have a great season. He has to have a great season to stay healthy. Like I said about the Nuggets, Rocky's got to stay healthy, man. I mean, I'm telling you, man, injuries, and I'm not talking about the Nuggets or the Razorbacks. Injuries are a great equalizer in sports, man. When you've got your players,
they are
different. And this stuff about the next man up, let me tell you, if the next man up was as good as the one starting, he should have been starting. I mean, I know you got to have that mentality. I know that, but it's bull because the next man up, if he was as good as the one starting, he would have been starting.
He would have been there in the first place.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Otis, stay hydrated, get some rest. I know you're going to be running that car into the ground, man, with all these camps that you're going to, and also the 7-on-7. So stay hydrated, my man. We will talk to you next week, and thank you for jumping on, everybody. This has been the Razorback Football Report with Otis Kirk. Be sure also to like and subscribe to hogville.net YouTube Live. And you also get prompts notifications once we have all the shows come on, the 2-minute Razorback Report, the Diamond Report with Dudley Dawson, and also the Razorback Football Report with Otis Kirk. I'm your host, Jason Pattyson, and thank you guys for jumping on today with hogville.net YouTube Live.
Thank you.